The Costco math worked. 60 days, real profit. I thought I had this money thing figured out. I kept every receipt, tracked every dollar. Over 5 years, I saved $40,000. Then my accountant showed me a different number. 60,000 money I lost without knowing it. Not stolen, not lost in the market, lost because of how I was wired to think about money. You know the move. Off-brand ketchup, 30 cents cheaper. That habit has a price tag. 63% of Americans admitted they got burned buying the cheap version. 2,000 people surveyed. I'm frank. For 5 years, I thought being cheap was the same as being smart. The numbers disagreed. We're counting down 10 cheap thinking traps. Number 1 cost me $60,000. Fair warning. Number 10, the clothing trap. Sounds small. It adds up faster than you'd think. I bought $20 shirts. 6 months. Pilling. Fading. Donate pile. Gone before winter hit. 3 shirts at $20 is $60. 1 shirt at $40, worn 3 years, is $40. The mainstream advice says, find deals. Buy more for less. The problem is you get more of nothing. The real cost of the cheap shirt isn't replacement price. It's the replacement decision. Time, trip, return. My wife bought 1 good jacket. I bought 3 over 2 years. She still has hers. Mine are all gone. A $40 shirt worn twice. $20 per wear. A $120 shirt worn 40 times. $3 per wear. Cheap doesn't mean affordable. It means renting something you think you own. You see $20 going out. You never see $60 going out across 3 separate transactions. Clothing trap is number 10 because it's visible. The rest of these get harder to see. Number 9, the cheap tools trap. Every homeowner knows exactly where this one goes. $17 drill bit set. 3 projects in, 2 bits stripped, 1 broke. Back to the hardware store. The good set was $45. I bought 3 bad sets, $51 total. The math wrote itself. The cheap tool that fails mid-job isn't a savings. That is a hostage situation. Conventional wisdom. Buy cheap tools for jobs you only do once. Reality. Cheap tools turn simple jobs into hard ones. Cheap tools work fine when everything is easy. They fail under pressure. Pressure is exactly when you need them. My neighbor Ray bought a cheap circular saw. Blade wobbled. Couldn't hold a line. 3 weekends for 1 deck job. A quality saw would have been 8 hours. Ray spent 3 weekends and the boards still weren't right. Ray rebought. $280 total. The good saw was $140. Twice the money for half the result. Cheap tools are fine right up until you actually need them to do something. Number 8, car maintenance. This one is not a metaphor. An oil change costs $40 to $60. Skip 2 and the engine starts to tell you about it. Neglected oil changes build up sludge. Sludge repair, $3,000. That is 50 to 1 on cheap thinking. Brake pads, $200 when worn. Wait for the grind, $1,200 minimum, 6 to 1 return on delay. Tires low on tread, $800 to replace. Blowout on the highway, $2,000 in your afternoon. Conventional wisdom, stretch every maintenance interval. Car companies overpad the schedule anyway. Save where you can. The mechanic I asked said they pad it maybe 10%. After that, you're on borrowed time, not savings. Here's the mechanism. The maintenance payment feels optional. The breakdown is never optional. 3 years of receipts, $1,100 in maintenance on my end. 1 friend, $2,200 in repairs, same car model, same mileage. I have both records right here. You feel the savings every time you drive past the shop. You feel the cost all at once at the worst time. Number 7, the healthcare delay trap. 52% of Americans skipped needed care last year because of cost. 38% of people with insurance, covered people, skipped visits because of the copay. Of those who delayed care, 42% said their condition got worse. Cheap choice made the problem more expensive. A skipped checkup catches nothing, or it catches something early, a misdiagnosis for a year. Hospital, not clinic. Chronic diseases in America cost over $1 trillion in direct treatment annually. Most are preventable with early intervention. Mainstream take, healthcare is expensive. Avoid what you can. Actual math, skipped care costs 10 times more when it surfaces. The copay is a real number on a screen right now. The future cost is abstract. Brains always weight certain over uncertain. I skipped my own physical 2 years running, $42 copay each time. When I finally went, they found something cost a lot more than $42 to deal with. $84 total, avoided several $1,000s spent because the small payment felt optional each time I skipped it. Health is not a discount category. Quick tally at halfway: clothing, tools, car maintenance, health. Just these four, 5 to 8,000 in cheap tax per year. 6 traps left. Number 1 cost me $60,000. Stay with me. Number 6, the time trap. This is the one people argue with me about the most. I drove 40 minutes to a gas station, 3 cents cheaper per gallon, saved 82 cents on a full tank. 82 cents, 40 minutes round trip. That is well below minimum wage for my time. Cheap mindset applies to time the same way it applies to money. Avoid the spend now, pay more later. Comparison shopping an hour to save $15. $15 per hour, that is below federal minimum wage. Cheap time behavior shows up in hiring decisions, in asking for help, in outsourcing. It infects everything. I spent 3 weekends building a deck myself. Materials plus my time at any reasonable rate. More than the contractor bid. The deck looks fine. I missed my kid's soccer tournament fixing a mistake with the joist hangers. Conventional wisdom: do it yourself and save. The math depends entirely on what your time is actually worth. Time is the only currency you cannot earn back. Spending it cheap is the most expensive thing you can do. Number 5, the price placebo. This one is wild, and I mean that in a clinical sense. A study gave 2 groups identical wine, told one group it cost $5, the other $45. Brain scans confirmed the $45 group actually experienced more pleasure. Same wine, same glass, different number. This runs in reverse when you buy cheap. Your brain expects inferior. You enjoy it less even if it's identical. I bought a no-name standing mat for $19, complained about my back for a month straight, returned it, bought the brand name for $52. Same material. My back felt better the next week. Confirmation bias compounds this. You bought cheap, so you look for evidence it was bad. Every flaw confirms it. People who buy quality report higher satisfaction from fewer things. Cheap buyers report lower satisfaction from more things. You paid less and enjoyed it less. That is the definition of a bad trade. Number 5, because most people don't believe this one until they've actually lived it. Number 4, the identity trap. This is the one that locks everything else in place. At some point, being cheap becomes part of your personality. You are proud of it. You lead with it. I am frugal. I know the value of $1. Good beliefs until they become the reason you cannot upgrade. When cheap is your identity, paying full price feels like being ripped off. Hiring help feels like admitting defeat. Conventional wisdom: frugality is a virtue. It is, until it becomes the cage you built around your own potential. Identity-consistent behavior is self-reinforcing. Your brain rewards cheap decisions because cheap is who you decided to be. I couldn't hire a bookkeeper for 3 years. $80 a month. I'm good with money. I told myself I don't need that. I missed 3 tax deductions 2 years running, paid penalties twice. The identity cost me $2,000 in avoidable errors. The identity trap doesn't feel like a financial mistake. It feels like discipline. That's why it's number 4. You cannot upgrade your finances until you are willing to upgrade your self-image first. Number 3, the social cost trap. This is the uncomfortable one. I split a business dinner to the cent, pulled out my phone, calculated my share of the shared appetizer, $12. The client watched me do it. We didn't close the deal. I estimated that contract at $40,000 annualized. $12 was what I protected. The cheap signal says, I don't value this relationship enough to absorb $12. That message travels. Weddings, graduations, kids' birthdays, the gift that clearly says you didn't try. Relationships cool after that moment. In negotiations, the person who pushes to rock bottom signals what kind of partner they will be. Vendors price in the hassle. Contractors quote their worst margin. The cheap signal costs you before the deal starts. I built a simple table once. One relationship, maintained right conservative referral estimate over 10 years. The number starts at 50,000. That is a cheap tax spreadsheet that hurts to look at. The cheap signal in one dinner can close that door. The cost isn't the appetizer, it's 10 years of what comes through it.
Number 3, because none of this shows up on any spreadsheet, but it shows up in your life every single time.
Number 2, the investment avoidance trap. We're close to the one that cost me $60,000. Cheap mindset doesn't only apply to products. It applies to what you'll pay for help, for leverage, for the right knowledge. I didn't hire a business attorney for my first vendor contract, $500. I've read contracts, I said, I'm fine. 2 years later, a clause I didn't understand cost me 18 months of product exclusivity. Opportunity cost, $30,000. $500 versus $30,000. That is the investment avoidance multiplier. I skipped a $200 course that taught a skill I needed. Spent 8 months learning by trial and error instead. 8 months of slower output, slower revenue. The cheap tax was not the 200, it was the 8 months. People who invest in the right help, accountant, attorney, a targeted course, recover the cost within the first year. Cheap mindset treats knowledge as an expense. The math treats it as leverage. Leverage has a return. Expenses just have a cost. Number 2, because avoiding the right spend doesn't save money. It just delays the cost and removes all the upside. Number 1, this one is mine, and I told you at the top I would tell you what cost me $60,000. 5 years, tracked everything, cut everything unnecessary, saved $40,000. I was disciplined and I was proud of it. I was running a freelance business on the side. Growing, I kept it lean. No software, no systems, no contractors. Someone offered me a project management platform, $99 a month. I said no, I have a spreadsheet. Someone offered me a part-time contractor, $800 a month. I said no, I can handle it myself. Over 2 years, I let 3 clients go unbilled because I lost track of them, each worth $10,000 annually. $30,000 gone. The tool I refused to buy cost $2,400 over those 2 years. The contractor I wouldn't hire, $19,200. I turned down $30,000 in projects I couldn't staff. I pulled the spreadsheet 2 years. 3 unbilled clients, $30,000 lost. Contractor capacity missed, $30,000. Total cheap tax, $60,000. The number does not improve the second time you look at it. Net position, negative $20,000 versus the version of me who spent a little to grow a lot. The killer wasn't that my cheap purchases broke. The killer was that cheap mindset blocked the investments that compound. Number 1, not because it's dramatic, because it's invisible until you actually sit down and run the math. If you fix one of these 10, fix number 1, opportunity cost is the trap that compounds against you over time. Number 2, investment avoidance. Every attorney skipped, course avoided, tool not bought, you're running at half speed. Number 3, the identity trap. If cheap is who you are, the math never changes even when your income does. Total cheap tax across all 10 traps for the average household, $8,000 to $15,000 a year, hiding in plain sight. I started by telling you I saved $40,000. I did, and I lost $60,000. The receipt only showed the savings. The cheap tax doesn't show on any statement. It shows up in slower growth, worse outcomes, and doors that stay closed. Frugal isn't free. Smart money has a cost. The difference between cheap and wise is the return you actually got. The receipt showed $40,000 saved. The ledger showed $20,000 lost. I will take the ledger every single time. After all of this, we stopped buying the cheap, replaceable versions of things. Cut them from the budget entirely. Next video, I took everything we stopped buying and listed it on Facebook Marketplace. 30 days, $847.